Today I'm going to be changing the EVAP solenoid and filter on my 2008 Silverado. It's an LTZ Z71. Basically what we have here, here's the solenoid. Open it up. Here's the canister and sensor itself. And then here's the filter that came with it. This is for a P0449 code, which is just the solenoid or the sensor, I believe. The filter is just good to replace since it's going to be down there anyways. So what I did is you can buy the actual hose for it. That's about, I don't remember how much it was, but I just went ahead and bought 6 feet of 5/8, radiator hose, heater hose, whatever you want to call it. And then I bought some 5/16 clamps, all on Amazon, of course. Just your regular kind of clamp here. And so I'll be showing you how to do that today. The hardest thing for me, this sensor was out for like 3 years on my truck, so my check engine light was on, I couldn't use my remote start. I had these parts sitting in my Amazon cart for like 2 years. Finally got sick of the cold and figured I'd just do it, and it cost me like 80 bucks maybe after all this. I never pulled the trigger because there's so many different canisters on Amazon or Google, wherever you want to find it. I just crawled underneath my truck and finally found the right one. So if you're having the same issue as me, I urge you to just crawl underneath and look at it so you know what the hell you're looking for. So here's the rear tire. Try to stay up and down. Here's the rear tire. Here's the fuel tank. So in front of the fuel tank, right in front, here's the drive shaft. Here's where everything is. So it's almost right between the driver door and the passenger door, back seat. This is what we need to change today. I just looked at it and it's got this tab here. I found the exact same one on Amazon. And this is the hose you can buy. Or I just bought the radiator hose and we're gonna clamp it ourselves. I might have enough for this, but I heard that this is salvageable. This one here. This goes up front, snakes all the way up front for the filter. So first we gotta unhook everything, put it back on. Should be pretty simple. Okay, so front door, passenger door. It's literally like straight back from between here. So we're gonna go back on this. Oh, yep, almost exactly between the doors. So what I'm gonna do right now is I just brought a couple flatheads down here with me. We gotta pinch that, push this tab up, and then it'll pull out. And then this tab, I believe you pull this tab up. I don't know, we'll figure it out and let you know. This might have to come down. All right, so I figured you push this tab up. It's gone now. You push it up, pull it out. But what I did is I just put the flathead right here on both sides and pulled it down, and it kind of just broke off. See, it's got these like teeth on the side. So I just broke it off, and now it's loose. I can take it off.
There's that. And then we gotta get this off. Before we take the actual sensor off, there's a plug here. Hey, stop beating that. Pull this red tab up far enough, and you just push it right down. Also, I was looking on Amazon, and a lot of the, I don't know what year it is, but I think it's after this year, maybe, I don't know. Do your research. You need an adapter because the plugs aren't the same, but I double checked and this plug will fit my new sensor. So another reason I was hesitant on buying this so long, but sometimes you just gotta send it. Okay, before I get too far, what I did is put a flat pad back here, lifted this up a little bit, and then I just pushed on it. So I'm gonna try and leave that there. So that's prying it out, and I just pushed on this, and look, now it's coming right off. See, there's that. Another step down. Now, on this hose, there's these little clamps. You have to, can't really see it. I think all you do is just push it out. Yep, just pop it out right like that. And then when you're gonna put it back, you just slip it right back in. There's a couple of them, so we're gonna find them. By the way, I know my truck has a shit ton of rust. It's been in Minnesota its whole life. We get a lot of salt. Anyways, so from the back side, here's the outside of my truck now, right? I'm on this side of the frame, and here's another one of the clips. Pop that out. Another one right there. Looks like that one was hanging on to this piece, but so I'm gonna leave that. Now we're gonna keep following it back here. Where'd it go now? So this, I'm gonna grab this and shake it, and you can see that it's this one. And it goes all the way up. There's the sensor right there. I mean the filter, excuse me. So, there's a couple more. Oof. Yeah, make sure your exhaust is nice and cold when you're doing this. Okay, so push this one out again. There's that. It's even got little indents so you can know where to go. All right, so there's that one. Basically, you just have to figure out how to undo all that up there. I can't really hold the camera and do it at the same time, so I'm gonna try, but bear with me if you can't see everything. And this filter just sits freely, so really it's just holding on by these clamps and stuff. I think that's the last one. So I'm gonna pop it off and then snake it back out. Just kind of remember where the path was, because you're gonna put it back the same way. You can relocate it, I think, but I'm just gonna put it back where it belongs. So I just unlatched it up here, pushed it back, and now I'm gonna try and pull it. Okay, there's that. Come up the back side. Actually, I'm just gonna leave it right there so I can, I'm just only gonna pull it out that much, swap out the filter and put it right back so I don't have to snake it all back. Let's do that. So, I don't know if you were able to see this. I think I'm just gonna pull it off. I think you can just pull it right off.
Spin a little bit, loosen it up. Maybe I shouldn't take this thing off here. It's coming, slowly but surely. A lot of sharp stuff around here. Check one of these flatheads.
Yeah, there we go. There she is. So now I'm back under by the fuel tank, where the sensor is. I'm actually gonna pull this off and then just take that off. So like I said earlier, I won't have to re-snake all this. It'll just be where it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna pull that off now. Use a couple flatheads.
Probably help everything's warm out. It's gonna be a lot looser.
It's gonna take a little bit of force, but you just gotta yank her off. Yeah, this tube's still good though. So I bought 6 feet of hose. I didn't know how much I was gonna need, but I think it's gonna be fine.
Okay, so now I'm just gonna take this hose and try to match the length of this one here. It's obviously got some 90 degrees in it or whatever, but you know, just give it a rub. It doesn't need to be perfect, I'm sure. Just get a good estimate on there and we'll clamp her down. Okay, so one problem I'm worried about now is with this radiator hose. I was trying to make the same kind of shape that the original one is, and obviously it's kinking a little bit, so I cut it off a little bit longer so it would loop around. Instead of being like an actual 90, it's gonna actually loop. So now the next step is to put these on each end, here and here, and then get rid of that. Here's the new one. Actually, I'm gonna take this back, just so you know which is in, which is out. The sensor side with the plug-in, right? Remember? That's the side you want to put this hose on. So I'm gonna slip this on here. I wish I had another person to hold the camera, but I'm gonna slip this on here and put that on, clamp her down before we get there, and then we'll do this other side, and then attach the other hose to this, and then put the new filter on, and we should be just about done. Before I go underneath, I have these. The sensor hooks up like this, right? I have the clamp with the, I guess, what would you call it? The screw, the bolt, on the bottom side, just in case you ever need to access it. If you need to put your tool on the top side, it's gonna be really hard. So just think ahead, you know, stuff like that. So this one is also, I'm gonna turn that one so it's facing downwards, just in case you ever need to do anything with it.
All right, so we're back under the truck. And what I'm gonna do now is just secure this back on here so I can have a free hand, of course. I don't need to hold it. So this has these slots. We're gonna use this first one, not the second one, this first one here. And it's gonna just slide right on there. Mine's a little rusty, so I'm gonna have to use some finesse. Make sure everything's out of the way. You don't want to pinch anything. Put you down just for a second.
Just wiggle mine back and forth till I got on there. Looks like it's bent a little bit, but I can use a flat hand.
Push it back up. It's secure. It's on there for sure. I'm gonna do this sensor plug right now just so I don't forget it. Gotta turn it way around so I can see. Go up there. Make sure your tab is all the way down. That's good. Turn it back around. Now, like I said, I made this radiator hose a little bit longer than, oh, that might not work actually. I wanted to make it longer so it wouldn't kink. But now it looks like it's gonna be hitting my drive shaft and I don't want that. So, oh, actually, it works perfectly. I did, let's see, about 1.5 feet, 18 inches, probably. So I put it on there, made it long enough so it wouldn't kink, right? It is very close to the drive shaft, but once I shove it all the way on here, I think I'll be fine. That should be fine. I'll just pull it this way a little bit. Yeah, I can rub against the top there. There, so now I just kind of tucked her back there. It should be just fine. I don't want it to kink though, so. Okay, that's on there. Clamp is where I want it to be. I'm just gonna tighten her up. Now there is such a thing as over tightening these, so. But you don't want it to be too loose, of course. Put her on. Snug it up. You don't need a wrench on it. Snug it up. I'd say once it starts bulging a little bit, you're good. So that's on there. Solid. That one's on. Sensor's plugged in. Now I'm gonna plug this guy back on. This is disconnected. I'm gonna clamp it back on here once I put her on. Okay, this is gonna use 2 hands, but basically I'm just gonna throw her back on here. All right, so I used 2 hands, squished it together, it kind of popped back in place because it already had the grooves from the first time. That one's good. Put these clamps back on. This one just goes around this wire here. So it's on there, it's back on there. I'm gonna go
I don't know if this, or my original filter right there, had this screen on it or not, but I imagine this is safer if it didn't come. It has these tabs like it did, but this one came with it, so might be a little better, who knows? All right, so here's this one. Looks like that's supposed to go right there. I'll put that one on there. This one can go here. Okay. And now I'm just gonna throw this back on. The filter on there. I'm gonna need new 2 hands again. There's really only one way of putting it on, so well, what I heard was true. This hose does stay pretty good for a while, so looks like we're gonna use the same hose. So I said earlier I was disconnecting everything to fish it out, but really you just need to disconnect the one that's way up there and just pull it down and you're good. So might not be able to see this, but I'm gonna try and put it back where she belongs here. All right, so I actually just had to watch my video and figure out where I fished this out from. So that's the biggest thing I could say is just pay attention to where it's lining through. This clip, mine actually had to put my hand around here. It's really hard to show you, but I had to just loop around these 2 lines and then it could clip up here. It looks like it's kind of broken, but it's still strong. And then the filter just sits there. Now I'm just gonna go through, make sure these clips are all where they're supposed to be. Like this one, looks like it could, nope. Hooks down here, I think. That one's on. And then the last one is over here. Right there, that one's good. All right, and that's it. All right, so the moment of truth here. See if that check engine light turned off. And if not, okay, looks like it's still on, so I'm gonna plug in my diagnostic guy here. Hey man, what's going on? Alright, I had to turn the flash off so I could see, or you could see. So P0449, P0521, no, I don't even know what that one is. Alright, so let's erase it. Erase, yeah. Erase done. Hey, and the check engine light's gone, baby. Now I would just, before I did this, you could just erase it and it would come back on in an instant. So that's good news. Looks like we're all good to go and I can use my remote start now. Thanks for watching.